let's get into it now. A spoiler-free movie review of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. The one thing I wanted when going to see this movie was a Yoshi popcorn bucket, and I'm happy to say, let me pull it out right now. Actually, this is where I would put it if I had one. I didn't get one. They were completely sold out. I knew I was running the risk of not going to see it opening night, and I really wanted to get one because I started seeing people on TikTok do all these creative things with them. They were getting these lights and putting it inside the egg, which I do have my Stitch in the studio, which I love. My favorite thing out of any item in here. The problem with the Stitch popcorn bucket is the popcorn goes in the back. You really can't do anything else with it. But since with the Yoshi popcorn bucket, the egg is in the front and you open it up from the front, I saw people go into Lowe's or Home Depot getting these little lights and putting it inside. And suddenly, bam, you have a Yoshi lamp. But I guess I did save myself almost $50 by not getting it. So that is okay. But I believe the addition of Yoshi in this movie made me love it even more than the original. Also voiced by one of my favorite actors, rappers, comedians, Donald Glover. And seeing him on this press tour absolutely crush it and carry the entire thing, which is wild because Yoshi in the entire movie really only says his name and a handful of other words. It is very much a Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy situation where he only says, I am Groot, but yet is able to give all these emotions. And Vin Diesel makes a lot of money doing that. Donald Glover, the exact same way, except I feel his presence and his energy inside of the cast brought so much life to this movie. It was, I believe, better than the first one because I thought all the elements that they incorporated from all the video games, not just the Super Mario Galaxy game specifically, which I do enjoy, but from the games that I grew up playing, from Super Mario World and Land, all of the video games, I thought the actual incorporation of all those side characters, all of the villains, and all the action was much better in this movie. What this movie is about, you find Bowser shrunken down. He is reformed. He is kind of like a Loki situation where in the first Avengers, he was the bad guy, but now he's kind of still a bad guy trying to be a good guy, but he still has that rage in him. And then you have his son, Bowser Jr., who wants to rescue his dad, and he also wants to take over the entire galaxy, and he does so by capturing Princess Rosalina, who is the most powerful princess in all of the cosmic. Right at the start of this movie, you get to meet Yoshi, and I think that was important. This movie really wastes no time. It's 90 minutes, and it gives you exactly what you want because unlike a Disney movie, I feel like Illumination says, you know what? Let's throw out all those rules and just have fun. We're not really trying to teach a lesson here, not really trying to build up an emotional story, which I do think there's just a little bit here because you find Mario at a bit of a crossroads. He kind of has a crush on Princess Peach, which I really hoped that they wouldn't incorporate. I like the fact that Princess Peach is the boss. She runs all of the Mushroom Kingdom. She doesn't need Mario. She's the smarter one. She's the more powerful one. I feel like that dynamic is a little bit weird, but if you look at the history of the video games, that's always been a thing. But I like having this powerful female character in a movie aimed towards kids to show you that the princess doesn't always need rescuing. And she is the most dominant one out of the entire film. So I kind of wish they didn't incorporate that, but I thought it was fine. You have Luigi still being classic Luigi, trying not to be scared of everything. Toad is the cute comic relief, but then it all goes back to Yoshi. But you have them trying to rescue Princess Rosalina and stop Bowser Jr. from his evil plan. I think the animation is fantastic. I don't think Illumination gets enough credit for bringing this franchise to life how it was intended to. You think back on that original movie from the 90s with John Leguizamo, where I loved it as a kid because I loved the video game so much, but it is so obscure and weird. Yoshi in that movie is an actual dinosaur, which maybe the inclusion of an actual dinosaur in this movie was kind of like, okay, this is something that we're going to bring back from the original movie. Although I kind of wish they would just give John Leguizamo a cameo. But nothing from that movie from the 90s resembled anything from the video game. The Goombas were weird. The mushrooms were weird. But I think the fact that that movie makes no sense whatsoever is why I enjoy it so much. But still, if I would have been given this franchise as a kid, would have completely changed my life. I know a lot of people love the Mario Kart in the first movie, love the Super Mario Smash Brothers incorporation, but I thought the actual action from the first person perspective. They incorporated even the old school, very first Super Mario Brothers in this movie, complete with them fighting Bowser in that same style. All those old great villains that I grew up just so frustrated with when I could not beat them. I had to get my older brother to come help me. Those were all a part of this movie. So I saw some people criticizing it, saying it was just a service to the fans. Of course, what do you want these movies to be? This is what we want. In the same way that we want to go see a Marvel movie and see a bunch of random cameos, we've been conditioned to do this. They give us these things because we pay money to see the things we grew up playing. So, of course, it's going to be a service to the fans, and you're going to have Goombas, and you're going to have the flying missiles, all those things that we grew up fighting and playing in the games. The thing I love the most is the score. The score in these movies instantly takes me back to being a kid because Super Mario has the best music in all of video games. Not only the iconic one that everybody knows, but Super Mario World has one of my favorite. Super Mario 64 is also fantastic. And it does it in a way that's very subtle, also very classical and elegant. You have these strings that are very sophisticated sounding, but it's in that dun 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 dun. Like it's very tasteful and I love it, paired with the bright animation that is super vibrant and alive with them going into outer space. I now see why they skipped over Super Mario Land because this definitely opens it up to a much bigger world. The inclusion of Glenn Powell as Star Fox was amazing. And now I want a Star Fox movie because whenever his character was introduced and they gave his backstory in that 80s animation style, kind of like the old Transformers show, I want that movie now. That made me feel so nostalgic for a time I didn't even grow up in, but I think that character shows you that they are building towards something. This almost felt like an Iron Man type situation where they start introducing all these other characters and they're definitely building towards maybe a Super Smash Brothers movie. Star Fox tells me that they have much bigger plans in the Nintendo universe. You'll see like Pikmin, all those characters that they're kind of soft launching into this. We are definitely building up towards something bigger and better. I would love a Mario Kart movie, even though they kind of already did that in the first movie. But I have to imagine we got to get a Super Smash Brothers movie eventually. I know they're doing the live action Zelda, but if we could get a Link appearance, could you imagine theaters going crazy for Link appearing in the Super Mario Brothers movie? So I do think we are going to get there eventually, and I am here for it. I think the fact that we kind of skipped over their origin story, we got away from them being plumbers, and now they are just living in the Mushroom Kingdom. You get all the different combinations of suits from the fire suits. We got Frog Luigi, my favorite version of Luigi in the frog suit. I think that was the best suit out of all of them. Which, by the way, Charlie Day, his voice was built for animation. I really think the entire voice cast is super solid. Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. I know a lot of people give Chris Pratt a lot of heat for his Super Mario, but I actually think it works here. But best character, best voice actor for sure goes to Donald Glover as Yoshi. That scene of Yoshi being introduced and his backstory of him walking with his butt towards the camera across New York City, getting into trouble. Give me that Yoshi movie immediately and give Donald Glover some more lines than just Yoshi. And I felt like a kid again leaving the theater so much that we stopped by Target on the way home and I'm like, man, do I need another Super Mario video game? But I do have my list of my top 5 most played Super Mario games. At number 5, I have Mario Kart Wii. Whenever they introduced that actual steering wheel that you could put the Wii controller in, I think that is the last time my family really bonded over a video game, which I think is why we all have a close connection to these video games because whether you were a kid, whether you were an adult, you could play the games because they're simple enough. But we got one back in like 2008, maybe 2000. Yeah, it had to be 2008 when we got one because they came out in like 2006, but it was a couple years before we got one. Played that game until my Wii stopped working. At number 4, I have Super Mario Land, which I played so much on my Game Boy Pocket. I had a red Game Boy Pocket that I got from a garage sale for really cheap. Every Christmas, my family would spend 16 hours in a car driving from Texas to Mexico. and I would play that thing nonstop. Whenever it got dark at night, I would try to find like some traffic lights in the corner of the truck that we were going in and try to find enough light to play. This was before the Game Boys were backlit. If you were more of a well-off kid, you would get the light that would come with them and then you could play in the dark. I did not have that, but I love this video game. I do think it is an underrated one in the Mario franchise. And number 3, I have Super Mario 3, the introduction of Super Mario in the raccoon suit. Gotta love that. At number 2, I have Mario 64. When we got a Nintendo 64 in the 90s, I thought video games are never gonna get better than this. And that was the flagship game. Everything from the interactive screen, whenever you first kick it on, you could mess with Mario's face, had a bunch of great music. And then watching Super Mario Galaxy reminded me how dirty we all did that penguin. We all know what we did to that penguin in Super Mario 64. We threw that thing off the cliff and we had to live with that. And then it would come back and we'd be like, I'm sorry, penguin. But that penguin did make a cameo in this movie. And at number 1, Super Mario World on SNES. I played this game so much, Yoshi being my favorite character in the franchise. All the times I had to sacrifice him to make a big jump. That always hurt me a little bit. I'm sorry, Yoshi. Watching this movie also reminded me how dirty I did you at times, but had the best music, in my opinion, had the best version of Bowser. All those levels that get more and more intense, having that best controller, the SNES controller, at number 1, my most played Super Mario game, Super Mario World. Also love Super Mario Galaxy. That would probably make it in my top 10. Played that one a lot. But this movie got out of it exactly what I wanted. Great voice acting, great visuals, great fan service. For Super Mario Galaxy, I give it 4 out of 5 mushrooms